Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Torrington Zoning Board of Appeals for a meeting on October 11th, 2022. Sitting on the commission tonight, myself, David Morgan, Mark Travella, Ken Edwards, Carrie Vabert, and Christopher Smith. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from December 13th, 2021?
Yes, sir.
Any additions, deletions, changes? No?
I have none.
Does anyone want to make a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of December 13th.
Okay, second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye.
We have two matters on tonight. Both involve variances. One involves Deborah A. Stewart, and the location of the property is 421 Litchfield Street. The second one is Jose Borgia at 3828 Torringford Street. If both applicants are there, then I'd just like to tell them both how the meeting is going to take place. Is that Mr. Steck?
It is.
This is Mr. Steck.
Well, Mr. Steck is also joining us. So now we have 6 members on a 5-member commission.
Do you want me to drop?
No. We'll see. Are Mr. Borgia and Ms. Stewart there?
Yes.
And can they hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What is going to happen is we're going to call Ms. Stewart first. She is going to make a presentation to the board. Either she will make it herself or someone will make it on her behalf. When she is done with her presentation, any and all members of the commission can ask her questions as to her application. Once we are done questioning and speaking with Ms. Stewart, we would open it up to the general public. And if anyone in the general public wants to step forward, either in favor of or to oppose the application, we'll give them the opportunity. Then we can go back and Ms. Stewart can then close up her remarks, and we will take it under advisement. We may vote tonight. We may seek more information and hold the meeting open, but it depends on what happens. We will do the same thing with Mr. Borgia, who's the second applicant. And do either of the applicants have a problem with us proceeding in that fashion?
They both indicated no.
No? Okay. Then I would move that we open a public hearing for the Deborah Stewart application.
I'll second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
And Ms. Stewart can step forward, or her representative, and address the commission with how we should deal with this application.
Okay, so first, according to what my understanding is I'm supposed to do, is I'm supposed to turn these in to someone, showing that I have sent a notice
I can take them.
to all my neighbors. I only have 3 adjoining properties.
Well, thank you.
Those are the
Whether
green
they're-
cards sent. Those are the green cards sent out to the adjoining property owners.
Yes, they are.
So currently 421 Litchfield Street is a residential unit on the 2nd floor. And when the property was originally constructed, it was a 2-family home. The first floor that I've been able to use as an office since I purchased it for a real estate office, since 2005, I think I purchased it. It's worked well for an office, but there was a lot of wasted space because it has a very large kitchen, very large bathroom. You know, it's the biggest break room you would ever really see in an office. And with COVID, say post-COVID, nobody uses offices anymore. So it's the assistants work at home, the agents work at home. I asked all my agents, when was the last time you used the office? And one of them said, oh, I went in and used the restroom since COVID. So it's just been a change. It's changed the need to have that physical space. I can downsize personally, and I know this isn't supposed to be about financial, but everything runs down to dollars. And the property, really, its best use is for residential. You have residential multifamily. If you're looking facing the property on your left-hand side, Matthew and Amanda, you have what was Attorney Reese's office as a single-family home that somebody just bought and have been renovating it there. And you have a single family over on Thompson right behind us. So it's in single family and across the street from us. So it's all residential that's right next to where we're at. So I think the property really for its best use is to go back to being a two-family home.
Anything else, Miss?
No, I think, the surprising thing was it was about the narrowness of the lot. I guess the variance is the requesting of the side yards and the front yard, but way back when, that's just how they built it. And all of the other neighboring homes are in the same situation. They don't meet today's zoning with the side yards and front yards. So I guess that's about it.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is zoned for two-family homes?
The area
that is
is, I believe it is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Correct, okay. And so what you're doing is just reverting to what the appropriate use of the property should be,
correct. What the original use was.
original use, okay, and that's what you're going to do. Okay, does anyone have any questions of the applicant?
So you're not making any changes to the floor plan or anything like that? It's just that
No.
it's the use changing because it's changing now to a residential. It implicates all the front yard setbacks and setbacks for residential use.
Correct,
Okay.
Do you have ample parking? for
Yes.
Two tenants?
yes. Yeah, it's paved in the back. If you look at your survey, you'll
Yeah.
see a very large parking lot.
Off the top of your head, do you know how many parking spaces you have back there?
Well, it matters how big your vehicles are. So when you round the corner, so if you're coming down the driveway and you turn to the right, you can easily put 4 to 5 cars depending on size. And usually that's all I have there. When the agents would come in, they would park on part of the driveway side or in the back side. But you could add a few more if needed be. But it's a 2-bedroom home, so it's not one that you're gonna get, somebody that has 5 cars, it's,
I would think 2 cars. per,
yeah, 2 cars usually is sufficient.
Unit.
And just as a note from the land use office perspective, our city planner, Jeremy Lyford, commented, when we were reviewing it, that the parking would be sufficient for that use based on what was already there. And I'll also note that Jeremy Lyford and myself gave memos both in support of this project because it's bringing the use from a mixed use to a 2-family, which the mixed use is allowed in the R6 district with a special exception, but 2 families allowed as of right. So we'd be moving to a more conforming use by allowing a 2-family to replace the mixed use there.
So if the applicant wanted to take one of those apartments and reconvert it to a business, she'd have to come in and get a special exception?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. I don't have any other questions. I don't know if anyone else on the commission have any questions.
Have any more? No.
No, I actually think it's actually an insurance change, probably a reduction. from a
It would be.
commercial. Yeah.
And it would not even just be insurance change, but also since Eversource just did their commercial
do.
rate hike,
Yes, that's correct.
it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm spending all this money for what? Nobody even comes in anymore.
well, like they mentioned, it, in harmony with the similar homes in the neighborhood.
Does anyone wish to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'm sorry. I may have asked, is there anyone in the public who wants to speak either for or against this application?
Yes, we have a hand. Would you like to approach the podium?
Could the person approach a microphone and identify him or herself? I can't see you. And speak loudly, please.
So my name is Donna Ducote and I live on 463 Litchfield Street. And I was just here to find out what the variance was about because on the sign, it didn't really say. And having lived on Litchfield Street for 48 years, I am in favor of this because years ago when it all changed to offices all the way up the street and it's slowly been coming back to just residential. You mentioned Jerry Reese's house and now you, and I just came to find out what you were up to. And I have to say, I am 100% thrilled to hear that you're doing this. And it's a beautiful house too. It's a beautiful house. So I am all for it. Yes, 100%. Relieved.
Does
Thank you.
anyone have any
Excuse
questions of
Yes.
that individual? No. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does anyone wish to make a motion about this application?
I'll make a motion in favor of the request to convert the property back to residential.
Is there a second?
I'll second. I'll second it. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I forgot. I put
Any
my-
opposed?
Put it in.
It is granted, approved. The second matter is, I can't read, Mr. Borgia. Mr. Borgia, if you could come forward and again, make a presentation and we will ask you some questions. And then we'll open up to the public and then we'll allow you to make any closing remarks and we will take it under advisement. Again, for this application, I would move that we open a public hearing.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so Mr. Borgia, can you let us know what's going on and your application and what you're looking for?
Hi, my name is Erica Borja and I'll be representing my,
Excuse me, yeah.
oh, the microphone, can you hear me?
Yes, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Erica Borja. I'll be representing my dad who's here with me. First of all, I'm gonna just hand this. Okay.
For the record, those are green cards sent to the adjoining property owners.
There are two green cards here to what I presume are adjoining property owners.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so my dad's property is located at 3828 Torringford Street in Torrington. And when he originally bought the property, it was a 3-family house already, and someone was living in the third apartment, in the small apartment that we want to keep in. Someone was living there when he originally bought the property. So what he wants to do, my dad wants to keep that third apartment, and he doesn't want to convert it in just 2-family house. He wants to keep the third apartment and just keep it the way it was, how he originally bought the house. And also, he wants to keep the third apartment because I want to live in that property. Currently, I am trying to get my own apartment and it's really expensive. I'm also going to school full time. And right now, inflation, food prices are going up, everything's going up, and it's really hard for me to find a cheap apartment as well. And I'm also working. So my dad had idea to just want me living there because it would be cheaper for me.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
So do you have any papers or documentation on the history of the property? Do you have any copies of building permits or building department documents or anything from the zoning office that show what the use of the property was, like what the approved use is? I know what the memo says, but do you have any papers from those offices demonstrating what the use is? Like how many apartments and all that?
One second. Let me see.
Do those green cards show that the surrounding properties are proof of this?
We have two green cards, one showing notice to Pete Schuman, I'm sorry, Anthony Schuman and Josiah Schuman, and then another green card showing notice to 21st Street Properties LLC.
The green cards don't show if the person who received it is approving it. It just means that that person got notice that the hearing was going to take place.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question of Nate. I'm looking at the application and it says it's a 3-family house. And the memo we got said it's a 2-family house. And then in his application, he says loss of potential 3rd apartment. So is this a 3-apartment house or a 2-apartment house right now?
So according to the assessor records and what we have on file, it's listed as a 2-family that was non-conforming pre-existing. So 2-family, this is in the R40 zoning district, which does not allow multifamily, but it was pre-existing at that 2-family. So it's our understanding that, as Mr. Borgia and his daughter explained, it was an illegal conversion to a 3-family when they purchased it. But this matter was brought to light because Jeremy Leifert had been pursuing enforcement action because of the 3-family use in the 2-family apartment, and that's what this had originally stemmed from.
Okay, so it's a non-conforming use, and what they want to do is expand the non-conforming use further.
That's correct.
Okay.
Nate, do you have a copy of the assessor's records that you're using to rely upon for the 2-family use designation?
I'm not sure if I have them in the file. If I don't have them on file, I can show you them right on the this tablet.
Dave, I'm assuming we'll want that in the record.
I was wondering too, whether or not there's a record of it being converted to a 2-family.
That we could not find any record of. So we assumed that it's pre-existing non-conforming.
Completely, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's certainly no record of it being converted or to being added to 3.
Correct. We don't, the city doesn't retain records for an extremely long period of time. So it may not predate zoning, but it must if it was approved. And that's what we have on file, but we don't have any record of any change.
Well, nonetheless, it's in a zone that doesn't even
Correct.
encourage multi-family use of the properties.
Right.
Are there any other non-conforming properties on the street that we know
I personally, I'm not aware of any, but there may be. Just bring this up.
Sorry, we were just looking, were you able to find some things?
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. So this looks like a copy of the assessor's card that was referenced. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions of the applicant or his designee?
Have two families coming from the assessor's card here. Does it have that? It should be listed on the card as well.
So we're establishing that that it has been used as a three-family?
Well, they're saying that they purchased it and it was a three-family house
That's right.
when they purchased it. When did you purchase the house?
But then at some point it became used as a two-family?
2019.
And
And
so
I'm
you
losing
bought the
my
house in
track here.
2019 and they bought it as a three-family house in 2019.
They bought it as a three-family?
That's what they're
Yes,
saying,
yeah.
They were told that it was a three-family,
Well, they
but
were, right,
Yeah.
they were told it was and they.
Yeah, my dad was told that it was a three-family house.
Do the documents state that?
Can you repeat the question?
Do the sale documents, do they state it was a three-family?
Did
Do
you
you
bring?
have any record
I'm sorry?
when you purchased the house? Was it advertised as a three-family and you purchased it knowing by that document that it was three-family at the time in 2019?
One month.
Are there any other two-family houses in that area? It's zoned R40.
can take a quick look.
Okay, when my dad originally bought the house, it was advertised as a two-family house. But the problem was that he saw that it was 3 meters and someone was living in the house. Like as I said, someone was living in the small apartment that we want to keep. Someone was living in there. And besides that, that's why he thought it was a 3-family house and not a 2-family house.
So it was advertised as a two-family?
Yeah.
But there were 3 meters.
Yes.
Where is the third apartment? Is it on the ground level or? in the
No,
lower-
it's upstairs, the second floor.
It's on the second floor.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the third floor?
There's no third floor. There's two.
So there's 3 apartments in the house, but
Yeah.
it's not on the third floor.
No,
attic
it's
space.
yeah.
Okay. So it
You
must
must
be,
split the second.
yeah. in that respect.
And there are 3 separate meters for the 3 separate apartments.
Yeah. There's 3 meters.
Can you confirm that, Nate?
There are indeed three meters. I personally was there and saw that. And to answer your other question, I did a quick look at the uses between West Hill Road and Greenwoods Road on the other side, or I guess Cedar Lane makes more sense. So West Hill Road and Cedar Lane come in from the east. That entire block or so, which is considerably, it's a mile maybe in length. That's the only multifamily on both sides of the road.
Will there be any changes to the outside structure of the building? Miss?
She's talking to her. dad.
One moment, sorry. I have to translate it to
that's
my dad.
okay.
That's fine.
What's the?
Okay, so the only change would be that he would want to remodulate the third apartment, but we're not doing any changes outside the house.
So you're just doing some interior?
Yeah,
changes?
to the third apartment. Yeah.
So the work will be interior work.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
What's the length of time for a grandfather?
Before the applicable zoning regulation is put in place. So if it pre-existed the applicable zoning regulation. then
So
it
if
could
it
be
were
grandfathered.
advertised as a two-family, they purchased it. I would say that the two apartments would be grandfathered.
Hey, Jim, could you speak up a little bit, please?
Yeah, I was being asked about when the applicable timeframe for grandfathering would be, and my answer was just that it would be before the applicable zoning regulation. So the use would have to be in existence prior to the zoning regulation that made it no longer acceptable to be grandfathered in.
But we don't know when it became a 3-family apartment.
No, we just know
Right.
that it was advertised as a 2-family in 19 when he purchased it, and they discovered the 3 meters, you know, and indicating there was a third apartment in 19.
Little trouble that there are 3 meters there and everything is going to be done interior, but and we don't know when it became, may have been advertised as a 2-family, but it was being used as 3 apartments, and we don't know for how long it had been used as a 3-apartment building. So I'm concerned about
How
that.
many bedrooms are in each?
How many?
And how's the parking?
bedrooms are in each unit?
Well, there's 3 bedrooms in each. There's 3 bedrooms downstairs in the first floor. And so in the second floor, there's 2 apartments. The small apartment, as I said, it only has 1 bedroom, 1 kitchen, and 1 bathroom, the small apartment. And the other apartment that's in the front of the house, it has 3 bedrooms. Yeah.
Are the apartments on the second floor separated from each other? I mean,
Yes.
is there a
Yeah.
door that's locked between them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Does anyone have any further questions of the applicant?
Yeah, there was one other question. What about parking? Is it off-street parking?
It looks like there's ample.
There's plenty of parking there. You can park 6 or 7 or 8 cars easily.
Can I just ask who lives in the house now? Is it family or individual renters?
So there are 2 families, 2 separate families.
And so if you were to live there, it would be 3.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. Okay. Fire code regulations we have to be concerned about for safety? I know if it were a 3rd floor apartment, there would be egress and fire escape, you know, for like an attic apartment. This is not that case. It's all number 2 floors.
Yeah.
Is
I'm
there
not
a
sure.
separate entrance to the 3rd apartment?
Yeah,
Outside?
there is. Yes,
And is that entrance already existing?
yeah,
That's an existing door?
yeah, because like I said, someone was living there. So everything was separate. So there's 3 different entrances for the 3 different apartments.
Can I just ask a question? Because I know a hardship is not supposed to be personal or financial.
Right.
So how does your hardship fit in with the way that we're supposed to grant them? How is it not a financial decision or a personal family trying to help each other out? Can you just explain that to me?
Well, besides as you said, the personal issue here, it's because he will have to spend money removing the meter, getting rid of this 3rd apartment, and just making it will have to spend more money, unnecessary money, because he originally bought the house like that, and he just wants to keep it that way.
Thank you.
Nate, can I ask you a question? In the regulations, are you aware if in the R40 zone are multifamily units or houses permitted at all under special exceptions, or is it just there's no provision for multifamily uses in the R40 zone?
There's no, it's my understanding that there's none, but I can just double check, so I can tell you. 3-family residents are only allowed by special exception in R6, LB, and downtown districts. So in the R40 district, 3 families are not permitted. Neither 2 families are also not permitted in the R40, but because it's grandfathered in, it's non-conforming, pre-existing, and you know, it's allowed to remain.
Well, I would agree with the grandfather in knowing that it was existing, at least at the sale, and that would be grandfathered in, but not knowing when the third apartment was separated from the back end of the house.
Can I ask a question? Was a third meter installed before or after your father purchased the home?
No, it was there the
It
whole
wasn't
time.
there.
It was already there.
Yeah, it was
And-
already there.
Yeah, and the date relevant to the grandfathering of the third unit is not so much the sale date, but the date of the regulation for R40 zone taking effect, whenever that was.
Oh, yes.
So I have to show back probably in this.
Yeah, zoning was adopted in the 70s. So that it would have to predate, I believe it's, oh no, even further than that. Effective date of zoning regulations was 1957.
But conceivably, the third apartment could have been added at the same time the second apartment was added, which we've agreed predates the zoning. So if it's okay to have 2, and we don't know when the third one was created, I'm a little troubled by that.
Can I just ask, what's the date of the last revaluation for the field card that shows it was a 2-family? Because if there was somebody who went in there and inspected it for the assessor's office, then they would have seen what it was at that time.
Just looking at the card here.
Would there be a record of when a third meter was added? Would Eversource or somebody have that info?
There's a note from the assessor's office saying on the card that on May 17th, 2022, they sent a letter to request inspections, and then on June 1st, 2022, inspection couldn't get into end unit, portion has been renovated, FOP and 2 decks added by previous owner /3 living units. You know, in my experience with assessors cards, they don't always get in for inspections for the properties in that respect.
Correct. I worked in the assessor's office for 8 years.
Okay, so then, yeah.
That's why I was looking for that, for a demonstration of when perhaps somebody actually saw that it was a 3-family. So maybe even on a prior card, if there's the records for assessor's cards are permanent.
Could we keep this open and try and get in touch with Eversource and find out when the 3 meters were all installed? I mean, if one was installed in 2010, that kind of makes it easy. If they were all installed a number of years ago, it makes it more difficult.
I mean, personally, I'm happy to, you know, motion to keep the hearing open and give the applicant an opportunity to bring in more evidence on when that third unit was established or created.
Nate, could we press you to do this?
I'm sorry, that was directed at me?
Is
Could-
it, I guess we're checking.
Oh, follow up with Eversource?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. I will say, from the land use office perspective, it should be irrespective of, when it was actually added in there, only that the second use is the use that we have on file, and that was the only formal use designation. So no one came in to get a change in use to change to 3-family. But I'll definitely be happy to follow up on that. I can I can see what I can do, and then maybe, should I follow up with you before the next, we don't have a meeting in November, so we'd have to schedule a meeting in November, or it would have to be pushed till, December.
If you get the information to us, well, yeah, the hearing is still open. So we'll have to either do it either way, whichever is easier for everyone, whether we're gonna have a special meeting in November or do it in December. I would just like to find out if all 3 meters were installed at the same time, or whether or not they were installed at different times.
Is there any indication of how old the services are? Are they updated, or
Mhm.
is there any evidence like the third meter was more modern than the other two? In other
We
words,
will have to
you have no idea?
find that out because we don't
Yeah, 'cause
know.
Been
Yeah.
there since 19, of course. Sure.
Do you have pictures of the meter, Mark?
No,
Oh.
you don't have any photographs of
The meter, no.
of the meters?
No.
I thought you said one of them looked newer. I'm sorry.
Well, that would be an
Asking if
indication
one
if it
did.
were added, if the other two were existing, because, I mean, an electrician would have added a meter unless they were all 3 upgraded at the same time.
Hmm.
Having had meters done recently.
Does anyone want to make a motion to keep this hearing open until the next available hearing date? And in the meantime, we'll look into when the meters were installed.
So moved.
The second,
Well, I'll second.
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
I,
All right. Can you explain to them what we're trying to do, Nate? That they have
Yes.
they have an uphill fight and the meter may or may not be important, but we'd like to know when they were installed. And we will address this at our next meeting.